believers. I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I have the pleasure of talking with one of the premier featherweights in Bellator today. On September 28th, he takes his impressive 17-3 record into the cage against former Bellator bantamweight champion Darrion Caldwell in the first round of the promotion's featherweight Grand Prix. Also, I'd like to mention that of all the fighters I am Facebook friends with, he's the only one to wish me happy birthday last month. So not only can he whoop ass in the cage, he's a pretty nice guy too. And that man is Henry Corrales. Henry, thanks for talking with me tonight as we get closer to this pivotal fight in your career next week.
What's up, Jason? Thanks for having me. You have a good time on your birthday?
It was pretty good. I mean, and I appreciate your thank you. Your birthday wishes made it that much better. I thank you.
Oh, sweet.
Now, obviously, we have much to talk about with your participation in the Grand Prix. But before that, before even that, please tell me what you are wearing on your head. I'm fascinated. I must know.
So I'm at Neuroforce One right now in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's just a premier strength and conditioning facility. They do a lot of cognitive stuff, a lot of neuro stuff, and I'm doing some electric. I can't really articulate what's going on, but I heard it's good for you, they say. And I'm also doing some Normatec boots on my legs and hips, keep everything fresh. I just got done with like a little 2-hour workout with some sauna, so I'm just kind of refreshing in between the next workout.
Oh, so it's like a recovery thing to, like, I guess, help the muscles and everything.
Thing. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, fair enough. Now, before we get into what's going on in the Grand Prix, I want to go back to Bellator 214. The Pico fight and win brought a lot of attention to you earlier this year. I went back and watched that fight again in preparation for this interview, so I have a lot of questions on it, since it was a pretty wild affair. I realized watching it a second time, right before the fight starts, he's doing that kind of matador stance thing he's doing, which the announcers were eating up. I get he was confident because he was on a 4-fight win streak, very impressive wins, but just five fights into a career, was there part of you that looks at him and sees him doing that and thinks, kid, seriously? Like, man, I cannot wait to put hands on you when he's doing that?
Not so much. I kind of have... I kind of have that lust for blood and violence towards any of my opponents, regardless of how they act. They could be the most sweethearted dude, or they could be a fucking dickhead. But at the end of the day, it's just like, at that point, I'm locked and loaded, ready for some fun.
When he lands the uppercut that floored you, was his power even better than you expected? We've all seen the highlights and stuff like that. Or was that more a situation of you were out of position and he just landed a spot on the right area?
Man, I just didn't see the punch at all. He shot it right up underneath my double jab. And it was just perfectly placed, it's those punches that you don't see that catch you off guard. And it kind of felt like when somebody pushes you from behind when you're not expecting it, and you're just like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But the moment my ass hit the ground, I just had vengeance on my mind, dude. I was like, I'm gonna get up and fucking chop.
So you get back to your feet, like you mentioned, and surprising, or maybe not, based on his inexperience, on 2 occasions he chose to stay close and try and dirty box with you. First, how badly were you hurt when he knocked you down? And 2, was there a bit of surprise that he was willing to stay in such close proximity with you, not knowing if you were really, really hurt or really, really not? And even to add to that, even John McCarthy during the announcing, he commentated, this is a moment where Pico kind of needs to settle down and really pick his spots. Were you surprised that he was willing to dirty box you and keep it close?
He didn't keep it close. I ran up on him.
Okay.
My ass hit the ground, and I got right back up, ready to make this fight. I circled out to see where my legs were at, see where my head's at, and I was like, I'm good. I'm not even rocked. And I beeline straight right back to him, and I sent the fight to him, and so I don't think it was anything that had to do with me. And I put him in a position to fucking scrap.
Now he stays close, or you really you brought it in close, and then you go doing some good shots, working the body, and then you bring that big right hand over. It stiffens him up. You know, there's extra shots in there that finish it off. But what is nuts is that despite having a 16-3 record and his 4-1 record going to that fight, you were a minus 500 under. You know, he was a minus 500 favorite in that fight. You know, one of the biggest favorites on that card. Only Jake Hager was a bigger favorite, and in a fight he was supposed to win in his debut, was a higher favorite than him. When you knock him out and get that impressive win, you know, you've had a lot of impressive wins in your career. Did this one turn out to be one of the more rewarding moments in your career, in like a sort of, how dare y'all doubt me after what I've done in this sport, you know, so far, like kind of moment?
No, not so much, dude. You know, maybe I'm super insecure, but it's just like, damn, I ain't shit. Who's next? You know, I just want to, I just want to prove I got more to prove to myself.
Mm.
'Cause that's just how I feel about all this stuff.
You've been seriously underrated during your career. Your losses in the division are to the current champion, a former champion, and to the guy that just fought for the title, number one contender, who's been one of the better 45ers for a while now in Bellator. However, it feels like this Pico win earned you the attention you deserve for a long time, you know, which is crazy because that was only Pico's sixth fight, but that's kind of the attention Pico's been getting anyway. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, has something changed for you in terms of fans and in the media's eyes? Are you getting more recognized for what you have been doing and the talented fighter you are more now after that win than say before it?
Yeah, but no. You know, it's and if it is attention, it's just give me 1 second. If it's attention, it's just social media stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't real life to me.
Right.
You know, so I'm not really swayed by that type of stuff, dude.
Is there a difference even at all maybe with the promotion? Is the promotion, do you feel maybe more of a support from the promotion, maybe more of a marketing push, or things haven't changed too much with that either?
Yeah, they actually have.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing highlights, and you know, but you know, anytime you win 5 straight fights, you get a little push, and Bellator's chill.
It's been a long time since we last saw you in the cage, 8 months to be exact. Of course, you know, setting up the GP brackets took longer than most of us expected to be done, but a lot of the other guys in the tourney have already fought recently, except you. Was there any specific, you know, reasoning for why your stay out of the cage was fairly long?
Not so much. I wanted to fight in like July or
Mm.
something, but they're like, hey, the Grand Prix is about to start in September. You want like we just wait? And I was like, I'll fight now, but if you want me to wait, you know, you guys are boss. So here we are. So it's cool. It's been a little break. Just you know, chipping away, mastering my craft, and just getting better, man. So it's been a good time off.
I mean,
It's out of the cage. I haven't really had time off, but
yeah.
you know.
But I mean, even you fought in January. January to July is a good amount of time. I mean, but it seems like to always be a thing with Bellator, like the inconsistency of booking. You'll have champions that maybe fight once, twice a year. You know, you guys in the Grand Prix because they're setting this all up may fight like once or twice in a year. You know, is that a thing that you've ever encountered? There's a lot of fighters I've talked to unfrustrated with sometimes how the booking in Bellator is. It's inconsistent. It's long layoffs. You know, have you ever had that problem? Because even January to July seems a long while for you to even get a fight.
Nah, dude, I haven't had a problem with them at all. I when Pitbull needed an opponent on like 13 days notice, I hit them up and I was like, hey, let me fight this guy,
Mm.
and they're like, all right, cool, and they let me fight him. Every time I hit them up for fights, they're always down, and I was ready to go in June or July, and they were like, well, the tournament's in September. We think it's better if you wait, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So you know, and they treat me well because I show up and fight,
Mm.
you know, so. It's pretty simple. I don't know about it. I don't know about other guys though.
All right, fair enough. Now, this fight on the 28th against Darrion Caldwell, you know, first, before we break it down, I wanted to ask you your thoughts on his loss at Bellator 222. You know, despite having gotten a lot of takedowns in the fight, what might have been looked at and viewed as like considered controlled in the fight, his lack of action, just trying to maintain that control, cost him his world title. Did you also feel he lost that fight, or do you feel his wrestling should have been enough and he beat Horiguchi at 222?
Well, I'm kind of biased too because he's kind of my friend. So
Ah.
I thought he won. I was like, yeah, he won. He took him down. So yeah.
I will say, I mean, I didn't know you guys were close. I mean, are you like often training partners? Are you super close? Is this whole thing an awkward situation for you guys, or it's just business?
Um, yeah, a little bit of everything. I've trained with them. I've trained with them in the past. My striking coach Eddie Cha has worked with them also in the past,
Mm.
and we fought on the same card, and yeah. But at the end of the day, we're all chasing same dream, whatever, and it's just like a hard sparring session.
Mm-hmm. Because of the
Yeah.
fallout from that fight, and maybe a belief that maybe he's not as exciting as a fighter as some guys. He's more wrestling driven, which is not a bad thing. Do you think he may be willing to stand and trade with you more in this fight, or do you think he's too smart for that to feel any pressure from the media, from fans, or and he's smart enough to know he's trained with you already? That's probably not going to be in his favor. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, I don't. I try not to think too much because I don't really know what's going on a lot of times. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the smartest guy. I just go for it, dude, and just be prepared for whatever. So we're gonna see what he brings to the table, and we're gonna see what I bring to the table.
Now, like I
You
mentioned,
know, this,
earlier, you have fought a lot of talented fighters in your career. While Caldwell is, like I said, maybe people don't consider him exciting enough and stuff like that because he's not striking, doing wild kicks. He is still very talented, very difficult for anyone because of that world class wrestling. Because of that, is he? Do you see him as maybe the toughest fight or the toughest challenge of your career to date, or at least in that top 3 or 5 so far?
definitely, dude. He's high quality. That guy's an elite athlete, and he got some serious credentials that can't be overlooked. And that's just a fact. But at this level, all these motherfuckers are savages, dude.
Yep.
So it's just, it's just, it's a wrong road to go down to just start thinking about that type of shit.
Mm-hmm. What sort of work have you been doing at your gym to be, to ready and prepare for this Division 1 national championship level wrestling that he has? And have you been working with any specific partners to mirror his style, or honestly, has it been status quo and it's the same stuff you've always been training and preparing like?
It's very similar, yeah. Everything's just elevated, just with as the quality of opponent goes up. I'm at Fight Ready with Henry where Henry Cejudo trains, and with Eddie Cha and Santino DeFranco, Alan Veers, and Angel Cejudo. So there's the coaching staff there is just next level, man,
Mm.
and it's just my game has just improved tremendously.
Now,
But yeah, I feel like every opponent that I fight is gonna want to take me down.
mhm.
So we've been wrestling, man, for a while now.
Now another fight that's going to have a lot of focus on it, along with this one, is going to be the main event with Archuleta versus Pitbull. How do you see that fight playing out? To me, I'm excited for that fight. I think it's one of the better featherweight fights this year. Do you favor anybody? How do you see that kind of fight playing out?
I'm gonna see it play out September 28th.
All right, fair enough. Now, I always like to ask questions at the end of these interviews, getting an idea of the fighter away from fighting. A lot of people talk, when I ask about personal passions, what they like to do that has nothing to do with fighting. I've gotten interesting things. I got people like cooking, people like watching stuff on Netflix, people love video games, origami, all kinds of stuff. Is there something that maybe people may not know if they're not following you on the social media and stuff like that they're gonna be like, holy shit, Henry Corrales likes to do that? I never expected that.
Uh, yeah, not really. I'm super basic, dude. I train. I go hiking.
Mm.
I hang out with my lady, my buddies, and I eat some good food. And I read some books, and that's all on my social media. So
So tell me,
there-
give me
everybody knows what's up with me.
give me 2 books you recommend for people that you've read you loved.
Well, we'll go fiction and nonfiction.
All right.
And I just read a fiction book from my coach Santino
Mm-hmm.
called Sea Wolf by Jack London.
Okay.
Oh, dude, it's such a sick, dark, really good book. And for nonfiction, I just like a lot of like personal development, sports psychology stuff. Getting more tuned with yourself. So I could just start with so many. But what's coming to mind off the top of my head? Probably Relentless by Tim Grover is pretty good.
Mm. And what's that about?
So Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's, mind and body coach pretty
Okay.
much, and he was pretty much on call, and he only worked with Michael Jordan,
Hmm.
and and then he started working with Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and people like that. So he has a lot of insight into the mind of an elite athlete.
Mm. And since you say you like to eat, what is your favorite type of cuisine?
Dude, anything that's like super unhealthy.
Or what about Oreos? I
Yeah.
love Oreos. Do you does Henry Corrales
Dude,
like Oreos?
I'll smash some Oreos for sure.
Yes. Which
Hell
ones? I
yeah.
love the new ones that are just massive. They're even bigger than double stuff. I fucking love those.
Those are cool. I like Oreos smashed into ice cream, like a Cold Stone, or
Oh.
or like a shake, like an Oreo shake.
What is are you big into cakes? I'm not a pie guy. I like cakes. Do you like cakes?
I mess with cakes. My chick does. My lady's a big old cake head too,
Ah,
so
man.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm definitely a pastry guy.
favorite? Well, then give me some top pastries for you. Are you a cannoli guy? What do you like?
So there's a place called Porto's in Southern California. It's a Cuban restaurant,
Mm.
and they have a guava and cheese pastry.
Ooh.
Fire.
I'm
If
guessing
anybody
though.
knows about that and watching this,
I'm guessing
comment
that
about it.
with a week or so left, there will not be any of that until after the fight.
Hell no. Yeah, dude. I'm meal prepped right now. My food's all weighed and measured. Like it's fucking the complete opposite.